So welcome back to another episode, and somebody just tweeted at me and said, John, do you ever get sick of video games? Do you ever need to take a break? And I thought this was really an interesting question, and I don't think I've ever talked about anything like this on the show. Do I get bored of video games? Do I get bored of video games? I'll ask you guys, do you get bored of video games? Do you need to take a break? Do you get a little burnt out? You're like, okay, I played the big game of the winter time or the summertime, I'm done for a bit, and maybe a couple indie games or something in between. I'm going to talk about my stuff here. Have I ever gotten bored of video games and needed to take a break in 30 years? This is going to surprise you. The answer is this: absolutely not. I have never gotten bored of playing video games or being hyped for the next game. And as I brought up there, 30 years I've been into this kind of hobby. You know, I'd say like 1987, 88, with the NES and starting to buy games and getting looking forward to games and getting to the age where I was like, oh, this game's coming out, and buying video game magazines and saying, oh, this video game's coming out in 2 months' time, and the hype machine started to be built back then for me. And it's never stopped. I've never gotten sick of playing video games. It's really interesting that I really love this hobby, but it's like this kind of hobby for anybody. People who like mountain climbing, and they climb like Mount Everest. Do they get bored of climbing mountains? No, it's a weird hobby passion for them that it's just inside of them. But you know, for a lot of people out there, this is just a casual thing. Video games is a casual thing. And I'm not saying a hardcore gamer that I'm more hardcore than anybody. I'm saying hardcore almost in maybe a negative way for myself. Is that I am really into this, and it's not like something that I'm like, kind of into it. Like a lot of people are just casual with it. It's, oh, I play video games, it's a bit of fun, I move on, I don't care. You know, it's not that big of a deal for them. For me, it's a big deal. I'm always looking forward to the next game, and when it comes out, I really embellish it. I really get into it. I get the strategy guides. I love it. I love the experience of it. And, also the thing is for me, not that there's anything wrong with it, I don't personally do drugs, or I don't smoke cigarettes. I drink very, not too much. So I don't have a lot of vices. Video games are my vice. It's one thing that I really enjoy, and I really look forward to it. I always have. If I look back for over 30 years of all the times I was looking forward to the game, we're talking thousands of things I was looking forward to. And it's never disappointed, and it's not a disposable thing for me. It's not as though I play like Breath of the Wild, I call it my favorite video game of all time, and then I'm like, okay, I'm bored of it, I never want to see that ever again. No, that game is still very special to me. Or, back in the day, thinking, oh my god, when's Final Fantasy Tactics getting released? I've been reading about it for months, and the day it comes out, it's unbelievably incredible. And all these years later, I still think back to it, and love it. It's not a disposable hobby for myself, and it's not something I've ever gotten burnt out at. I'm into this because it's fun, and it's fun for me personally. I really enjoy video games. I enjoy the escapism of it, and I love the art of it. I like the music of it. I like the design of it. I like all of these things. I like the companies. I like everything that's going on with it. So it's something that I escape into. It's nothing that I need to escape away from. I think that kind of describes it quite well. It's something that's an enjoyable thing for me, and it's something I like sitting in, I like reading about all the time, and it's a major part in my life. It's not a small part, it's a pretty big part. But I also here's another thing. I've got great balance in my life, and I think, for anybody out there, that's something you need to have. And I think if I was just into video gaming, like my mindset was only video games, then that would be okay, that's something. But I make great times for me and my wife. We have great balance in our lives. We love playing video games together and on our own, stuff like that. But we have a good balance of life. We go out to the park. We go out to a new place we haven't been. We go for dinners and lunches, and we really enjoy each other's company. I have, time with my friends and things. I wish I had more time with my friends. That's one thing I wish I did have a lot more. But when you get older, me and Rob were talking about this the other day, we only can see each other about 3 or 4 times a year. And that's because our lives are so busy with our families and all of that. And it gets a little different and harder to hang out when you get a bit older. And that's the one thing I wish I could get more of, is more hangout times with my friends to come over and play video games. Yes, that would be awesome. I wish I had, like, I remember back in the day where everybody would come over to my place when Street Fighter 2 came out on the Super Nintendo. I remember, like, there's like 15 to 20 people in my basement, and we were just playing, I should say my parents' basement at the time, and we'd just be playing Street Fighter all day. And then Final Fantasy 7, when that came out, everybody would come over, and we had these big group video game things. And as you get older, different people get into different things, meaning you get married and have kids and all these responsibilities, and it becomes a little harder to hang out. So one thing I would say is that if you are with a big group of friends and you all hang out and play video games, oh my god, enjoy it. It doesn't last forever. And that's one thing I'd like to have, but I do have good balance in my life. I make great time for my friends, my family, my wife, and video games. Video games have a spot as well, and I try to keep them all equal in their, equal values to themselves, and not one overlaps the other. Everything's perfectly balanced, and it's a pure Zen thing, and it's really a happy medium. I've loved video games for 30 years. I think I will till I'm dead. I've thought about it. Am I going to be 60 years old, 70 years old, talking about video games in this channel? We have entered a different world now with YouTube and putting yourself out there through cameras and all this kind of stuff. Who knows, back then, maybe I'll be a holographic image of an old man will be showing up in your living room going, oh, he's 15. I remember when I played Ease 1 back in the day. And then some kids just like, ends the holographic stream and says, get this old man the frick out of my house right now. So, guys, what do you think? With video games, do you get bored of video games? Do you have enough of video games? Is it too much for you? Let me know down below. So anyways, guys, until next time.